Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday, ladies and gents. It is here. The end of the week. It's March 15, 2024. And today's show, we're going to take a look at the stocks and currencies and market index that we were looking at during the week. We're going to look at what transpired. We had made forecasts on price direction, so we're going to take a look at what took place and wrap things up for the week. And so glad that you can join me. Hope you guys have your coffee if it's the morning for you guys, just like me. And hope you guys are ready to dive into these markets and see what's taking place. All right. So first, as you can see, I got a lot to cover today. So I want to go and zip through these charts really quickly. So first, we're going to start by taking a look at the S&P 500 futures. And you can tell that it's been a pretty solid month for the index. And it's been maintaining its upward strength here on the daily chart. We recently engaged in a uptrend that was created here on the daily chart. And it was engaged right here. And we've had a very nice move to the upside since then. And the trend line's holding very nicely. It's keeping its proportion. Everything is in line with a continued move to the upside. All right. We talked about this in a different show earlier this week. Talked about our targets being higher and the reasoning for it. And so there's nothing. There's nothing that's changing my mind with respect to that. I still believe more upside is coming. All the formations are telling me everything is in play. So we're watching for a continued move higher. Okay. NASDAQ, what do we got here? Same situation. If you look at the daily chart, you can see the same thing took place. Okay. This was a buying zone that was created and used to uphold the ascending trend on the daily chart. So that's in play, and price has been slowly making a move to the upside. So no changes with respect to the overall markets and their direction. All right. We were recently looking at Bank of Nova Scotia. And so I've been telling you that I was telling you that there was bullish pressure here, and we can see that when we examine the supply and demand dynamics of what's taking place, we see that there was significant buying taking place here on the weekly chart. Price rallied up, and currently we are inside a supply area. And when price is inside supply zones, we don't like to be a buyer because we don't know how much selling is going to come into here. All right. It could be really aggressive. It could be short-lived. It could be nothing. It could be price consolidating inside this area of supply and then eventually see a big move to the upside. So because we don't have a crystal ball and we can't see exactly what the banks are going to do as they're doing it, we watch to see what they do, and then we know what they're going to do. Right? That's the better rule of thumb. So we're inside supply, and as you can see, we're seeing the reaction to the downside from this supply. Okay, that's what this move is all about here on the daily and on the 2-hour chart. You can see that supply coming in. So I'm going to wait for that area of supply to be removed first, and then I will be looking to be a buyer. At McDonald's, we talked about McDonald's. I told you about how there were structures being formed that were reminiscent of price not holding an uptrend. And as you can see, price is dropping now. We're seeing a lot of weakness in McDonald's coming down. And now this latest area on the daily chart, this is a demand zone right here. And as you can see, price just penetrated through that. Okay. And that was yesterday. Price penetrated through that. So in terms of market direction, we've got this area being penetrated, which is now opening up for a move to be made lower on the weekly chart down to this weekly area of demand. Okay. Can we get a short-term move to the upside before that takes place? Yes, absolutely. But I think upside momentum is probably going to be capped at this area here. All right. So any upside momentum will likely see a reversal form up in that area, if not sooner than that, and move lower like that. All right, so that's what I'm seeing with McDonald's based on this supply and demand dynamics that is in play. Dollar Tree. So what did I tell you about Dollar Tree, ladies and gents? Okay, look at earnings. Earnings were negative, but did I not point out that we had a significant area of supply being contacted? Okay, significant supply was being contacted, and I said don't buy if supply is in play. So now we have the pressure to the downside. So price is just reacting to that area of supply. That's all that's going on here. That's why we're getting that push to the downside. And so, as I was saying, when price is in supply, you don't want to be a buyer because you don't know how much pressure to the downside there's going to be. So we wait and see the reaction and wait for momentum to start building back to the upside, because I do believe that over time we're going to see another drive back up the chart. Okay, it's just how far is price going to go, where is it going to stop, and where is it going to reverse from. The next time it rallies up into this area of supply, we'll likely see another pushback, but we'll be looking for demand zones being created by the banks on the way up into this area of supply. And then when price retraces to those areas of demand, we'll be looking to buy, and with the anticipation that that area will eventually get taken out and price will go higher. Dick's Sporting Goods, we're talking about this one. Very positive chart. We had earnings that just came out. Earnings were yesterday morning, very positive, big spike to the upside. I wouldn't be buying here. The area that I'm interested in is between 137 and 155. So any type of retracement down to this area, I'll be a buyer because I know that there's big money buying the stock there. So that's where I will participate. Dollar General. Okay, here we go. Remember, I was mentioning this one to you. I told you that I got into a long position on this one and I exited at the highs here. Why did I do that? I said it was because supply was being contacted. And I don't want to be holding a long position when supply is being contacted. And what was the reason for that? Was because I know through studying supply and demand and the charts that if banks are accumulating a position down low, as I was, they usually use areas of supply to take profits on their positions. So what do you think happened here? All right, look at earnings. Earnings were positive. Isn't that a good sign? Doesn't that mean you'd want to buy? Well, yeah. Your average person would only see that. They wouldn't see the supply that's coming into play here. All right, and that's troublesome. Because if you don't see the supply and all you see is the good earnings, you're going to be thinking, oh, let me buy. Well, what do you think was happening all throughout this massive drop here on price? It was buying. But the banks were so overwhelmingly selling that you see this huge drop like this. So retail traders come in and buy, and while the banks, the big institutions, the big family offices are coming in and offloading their positions. I do think that price is going higher. That's for sure. And this is one that's on our stock watch list, and it will be on it for quite some time. I just don't know how much further price is going to go before it wants to reverse and start heading higher. So I'm not going to make any assumptions about where that's going to be. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to watch, wait for it to make its move, and then when I see momentum start to build back to the upside, I'll get interested in getting in again. All right, Adobe, we have price gapping down onto the chart. This was one that I was talking about, an earnings play. Earnings came out, were good. The earnings were good, but we're seeing a massive gap to the downside. So what's going on here? Well, you know, they apparently have quarter two, what was I reading here the other day? Let's see. Their outlook for quarter two is not the greatest, and this is why people are selling. But at the end of the day, I want to point out that there's massive demand in play here. Okay, the bottom of this demand zone is 498. We're at 506, so we're still inside demand, all right? We have a weekly area of demand here. We're right near the bottom, so yes, it could break, sure. It could spike down, it could have a wick down, it could do a lot of things. So it's hard to speculate on what's going to happen and what the reaction is going to be. All I know is that there is significant buying coming in from the lows, and I still believe that over a longer period of time, we'll see this one head higher. Okay, I opened up a position on this one. This is one that I was suspecting the outcome would be good, and we would see a big rally. I have my stop below this area of demand. So we'll see if it holds or not. It'll definitely be on the verge of not holding. And so this will be one of those trades that I might be stopped out of. And that's okay. It does happen. You know, you can't get them all right. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I will be watching that first thing this morning to see if the trade holds or not. If it does, you know, great. Then we'll maybe see this weekly area of demand hold and then price start to rally from it. We'll wait and see. ADM. This one came out with negative earnings. We're still not down where I'd like to be a buyer of this stock. It's was on its way down, but it hasn't reached it yet. I'm looking at, you know, just under the $50 area, and then I'll be a buyer. So I'm hoping that this will over time just continue to drop like that. All right, GBTC, this one's super strong, area of demand, very interested in buying this one if price is to drop. And I think it's very possible, okay? Nothing goes up forever, just got to be patient and wait for those drops. This one, Friday morning, earnings, what did it come out to be? Revenue estimate was 6.8, reported 6.7. It's lower, it's dropping, okay? We closed at 147. Now in pre-market, it's 133. Not too bad, though, because we have an institutional buying zone right down here, okay? Don't think that this is bad news. You know, sometimes they'll use bad financials to get price down to demand areas. It's 133. So guess what? It's going to be opening up just below that area. So what might be happening is price coming into this area here of demand. So it'll be gapping into demand. Okay. We still got another hour and 15 minutes. So it's likely going to be gapping into a demand zone. And so there might be a lot of sellers of this stock in this demand, while banks come in and buy, and then we see price continue higher. Definitely a very high possibility, since we know the big financial institutions and big players are buying between 119 and 130. Okay. So I would be watching for that. Len, L-E-N. This is one that I was telling you about with the earnings. Earnings came out, mixed results. Overall, didn't look like the market is liking it. Price retraced. Look where it's retracing into. Back inside an institutional buying area that we found between 148 and 153. So price dropped, boom, stopped right there. So what do you think the bias is for price when the market opens? Up. It's already gapping up, all right? 153.99 because of the reaction from demand. So mixed results causes price to drop, but how convenient it drops into a demand. The only thing I would say about this is, and when you study with us at the school, we'll teach you the different things about supply and demand, the importance of having good quality demand. And the problem with this area is how much trading we have that existed to the left of this area. When you have a lot of trading happening in the area, it's usually not good for a demand zone to hold, because that means all the orders that they wanted to fill, they probably filled them all here throughout all that time. So when price gets back to that area, there's typically not a lot of orders there waiting to be refilled. So if that's the case, then price can easily continue dropping until it finds its next area of demand that is of better quality, and then price rallies up from there. All right, so something to watch for. PDD, this was another one that we were watching. Price contacted some demand here, and I was pointing out that we had some demand here, and price could rally from it. And we have earnings next week, but the chart looks pretty good. We see that push to the upside, and yeah, it's one to be keeping on the watch list. Let's take a look at the Euro US dollar, shall we? I know you guys are excited about this one. So we had price drop into an area of demand. Okay, we previously were talking about how retail sentiment is something that we track very closely to take a look at what the retail are doing with their positions. Why is that important? Well, because retail usually are being led into doing the opposite of what the banks want to do. So the first thing I will point out for you guys is we had jobless claims for the US dollar come out, and that was right down here. And what did I say? I said jobless claims positive. That means it's negative for the euro. And how funny is that it's coming out right as price is contacting an area of demand? So what's interesting is that, you know, if it's negative for the euro, you would suspect that retail traders would be increasing short positions, and the banks would come in and start buying. All right. And lo and behold, what happens is you see price reversing from this area and starting to rally up. Why is that taking place? It's taking place because we're contacting a buying zone right now. Okay. It's an institutional buying zone. And so you can see that now we have longs, okay, increasing as price was declining. We went from being short. I told you this wasn't going to last very long, all these aggressive short positions, and they've been aggressive with shorts for quite some time, all throughout here. Aggressive with shorts. All right? Aggressive, they take some off. Aggressive, they take some off. This time, they took so much off, and now they've gotten themselves into positive territory here. 66%. Okay? If this rallies up and I see this getting into the 80s, 90s longs, then I suspect that we will see a drop. And where could that take place from? It could easily take place from this area here. Okay? This is the latest area of selling that we've located from the banks. Now, the only thing I would tell you is that you have to be careful with this situation because we have an ascending structure here, right? As you can tell, an ascending structure is put into play. So keep an eye on multiple things. One, retail positioning, becoming super aggressive with longs, price rallying up into an area of supply. If price contacts this area of supply, and we have retail positioning at like 90%, then I will be watching for a significant decline. Okay? Begin. It'll begin. That's what I suspect. And very likely, if price gets up to that area of supply, it'll be from that area. So this is something that I'm watching for, and it'll be on my radar definitely for next week. Okay, US dollar, Japanese yen. We see some bullish pressure. They offloaded, retail traders were offloading their positions here. As you can see, they were short up here. Okay. And then they start to get out of their shorts and enter into long positions. As they were entering into long positions, the institutions dropped price. Okay. This is what they do. Okay. They drop price as they're getting into longs. They keep on getting into longs. They keep on dropping price. Eventually, they bail on those longs and they start getting into shorts. And that's what's been happening here with this rally up in price. Okay? So interesting dynamic here. If we take a look at positions now, they're about 57% short. So, retail traders, they are not able to make up their mind at this point. And it's unfortunate, but this is how it goes. 57% short right here. So let's just mark that on the chart. 57 is like of that. Here we go. Okay. So, just keeping an eye on this. We didn't reverse from demand, and I was mentioning that, there's no demand here. So, at least on the higher time frames, it is responding to demand here. Look at that reversal take place right from that area and pushing up. And as you can see, we're about to contact an area of supply. So, very interesting, okay? Keep an eye on this because we might be seeing a rally up into supply and then a reversal back to the downside. So, a couple things to be watching for there, all right? So, keep that on your watch list. And one more thing, we got natural gas. It rallied up. It contacted our area of supply here. It contacted our target to the pip, and then it dropped. We knew that there was going to be pressure to the downside, and that's what we're seeing right now, significant pressure to the downside here. The pressure was so much, it was able to break through this buying area. And I'm not that shocked by it, okay, because this was a significant area of selling coming in. So for it to remove a 4-hour area of demand is not that surprising, okay? Like I wrote here, if 4-hour demand was strong enough, price would rebound and head higher. It wasn't strong enough, so it needed to break through. But now what I'm watching for is I'm watching for momentum to build, shift, and start heading higher, okay? So once again, let me just open up this chart so you can see a better view of it. Here's the pressure from supply coming up from here, okay? Massive selling, okay? Look at where our target was. This is why we place our targets. When you come to the school and you learn how to trade using supply and demand, you'll be able to find targets as accurate as this, okay? So you see this pressure to the downside here, all right? Some people draw things like this and they call them channels or whatever they want to call it. But there's downside pressure being created by the institutions. Now what we want is we want a break of this channel to bring us into neutral, okay? Switching from bearish to neutral. And I think we might be seeing the beginning of this. After this, we want to see bullish, okay? Because once we enter into the bullish phase, then I suspect we're going to come back into that area of supply, eat through it, and eventually make our way even higher, okay? And you see where my second target is. It's up there. And I suspect that over time we'll get there. We just got to be patient, but at the same time watching the dynamic of price and watching to see how things play out. Can you watch TGT? Sure, my friend, we'll do that. Target, it will be the last one. Target, we had, we alerted this one at $144 in pre-market. Now it's at $164. It's reacting to supply, okay? This is what's happening here. As you can see, price is reacting from supply. We see some pressure to the downside. I don't think this pressure is going to be so great that it's going to bring price all the way back down. I believe it's going to sit steady, eventually break through this area of supply, and once that gets broken through, there's no stopping price from going to our longer term target at $210. All right, so it's just a matter of time, and you just got to be patient with it, okay? All right, folks, that's it. 25 minutes in. We covered all the major markets that we were looking at this week. And hopefully that was beneficial for you. Hope you're using this analysis to complement your own analysis and your trading. And yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for being with me all week. If you could be so kind as to like the tweet that you're watching this on, or like the YouTube video, I would appreciate it. That helps support our cause, our school, and everything that we are working so hard to create here at the school, okay? If you want to reach us, it's www.whiteoakfx.com, and you can click here and learn more about what we do, click on level 1 education, level 2, level 3. Right now, when you sign up, you get access to all 3 levels, which is an amazing deal. And we also got discounts for you if you're looking to be a member with us for 6 months, 12 months. If you're really looking to commit yourself to something and really want to learn the truth about how the market works. And, just don't take it from me. You come in, you join, look at the video lessons that we have to offer you, participate in the classroom sessions that we put on every single week, and see for yourself, okay? And how we are much different than all the other education sites out there. We do things very uniquely, and we have a very different perspective on the markets, as you can see through our sessions. All right, so I hope you take advantage of that. We'd love to see you inside the school. You take care of yourself, have yourself a good weekend, and we will talk to you later. Take care, everybody.